You and I we barely touched on this off air, but this whole thing with Udoka, the coach of the Celtics, I feel like there's got to be something more here, Frank. On the surface, if it's just what it is on the surface, is the guy going to get a year?
I know it's a shocking story, and usually anything like this, these stories don't come out publicly. Now, have heard stories when you're in that NBA circle, you might hear why a guy wasn't seriously considered for a job with a certain team because with that team he might have been having an affair with someone that worked in the team, so they've canceled him out. But that doesn't become public. The thing with Ime Udoka, now, could this be a situation where they said it was consensual? And to your point, his partner is Nia Long, the actress. Now, they're not married. I don't know. Were they separated at the time? Was the person that he's alleged to have the affair with, is this person single? So from that standpoint, they're employees. Do they have to clear that through human resources? Some people have said that as well. But I do think when you have a guy in a position of power, and I think that's why the Celtics have taken this step. But when they're talking about a year suspension, I was shocked by that. I mean, I've never heard anything like that before. And Dan, think about this. So in June, the Boston Celtics were up 2-1 on the Golden State Warriors, and they had a lead in the fourth quarter. Steph Curry becomes Steph Curry. Golden State wins the next three, but still a great year for the Celtics. They go out, they get Brogdon and Gallinari. Gallinari blows out his knee playing for the Italian national team. Robert Williams, they announced just the other day, is having surgery. And now the head coach, who did an unbelievable job, it sounds like he's not going to be with the team for the entire season. It's hard to believe how quickly things change.
You know, one of the things, and I think I understand it from the standpoint that you talked about, like if somebody's a subordinate, obviously they have to be protected from either real or perceived problems. But what happens, like, is the president, I'm not saying this is who it is, but there are people in the front office that are above the head coach. You see what I'm saying here, Frank? Like, does that make a difference here if somebody maybe is above the coach?
I think it's the fact that it sounds like both of them are already in a relationship. So again, we know this from every walk of life. Don't people who work together eventually end up getting together and getting married? But I think it's a different situation here when you're talking about the head coach of the team. Again, first of all, the extreme would be to fire him, but doesn't it kind of feel like that's what's happening right now by suspending the guy an entire year? You think about some of the things that have happened in every sport, including the NBA. For it to reach that level, and from any dealings that I've had with Ime Udoka, and I go back when he was on like 10-day contract with the New York Knicks, for crying out loud, when Greg Popovich told Larry Brown, bring this guy in, you're going to like him, he's a good team guy. I've known him as far back as then. You're not going to find a more mild-mannered, quiet, private person. That's why for me this whole thing is pretty shocking.